Hi guys, welcome to my second video on this YouTube channel, on this Formula 1 adventure that I've embarked upon. If you didn't watch my TikTok the other day, I said the other day, I think it was about 15th of February, that kind of time, that will give you a little insight into what we're going to be talking about today. So if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. So, without further ado, let's get into the video, yes? Essentially, in this video, I want to talk to you guys about the significant issues that I see in Formula 1. So in the TikTok, we had the ageing audience, and today I'm going to run through a couple of the other significant ones that I see fit. So, problem number one is to become a driver, you need to be unbelievably rich. I'll explain. So your journey to Formula 1 starts when you're 6 or 7 years old in go-karting. And to buy a good go-kart, that's going to cost you between £2,500 to £5,000. You've also then got to pay for repairs, fuel, tyres, travel, as well as entry fees. And this is going to cost you tens of thousands of pounds per year. So immediately, only the super rich can participate and finance a 6 or 7 year old kid in competitive go-karting. This is until a professional racing team comes along and says, we want to hire you because we think one day you'll make an amazing racing driver. They then pay for all the expenses and you join their young driver program. But the problem with this is there's a huge pool of talent that's missed. This talent doesn't even get an opportunity to compete and show their skills because they don't have the money to participate competitively in go-karting and they don't have a shot at making it up the ranks. So it works similar to football in a way, because you kind of get scouted, but like I said, only the super rich have the opportunity to be scouted. So yeah, and I believe this is hugely unfair. Now, you could argue that that's part of the sport's way of making it exclusive. However, I don't agree with this because I believe talent should be given an opportunity no matter what. Problem number two, another problem I want to talk about, is certain drivers bringing excess sponsorship with them to Formula 1. So some drivers bring with them more sponsors than others. So I'll give an example. In 2018, Williams hired Sergei Sirotkin from Formula 2 to be part of their Formula 1 team. He is Russian and brings with him plenty of Russian sponsors, which means millions of pounds for the hiring team, in this case Williams. In Formula 1, money is speed. The more money you have, the faster you're going to go. They say to go 0.5 seconds faster, half a second, it costs you £100 million. Therefore, you can see why teams would take this decision. The result of this, however, is that potentially more talented drivers in that Formula 2 series get overlooked for that drive in Formula 1 because another driver brings with them millions of pounds, kind of almost paying for the seat in a way. Now, this doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen a few times. Examples include Pastor Maldonado and Lance Stroll, who still races today. But yeah, like I said, I believe this is very unfair because potentially more talented drivers get overlooked for those seats just because they don't bring with them millions of pounds, something outside of their control. Problem number three is the way prize money is allocated. You'd think that teams would be awarded prize money based on where they finished at the end of the season in the standings. However, this isn't the case. Now, let me remind you, it's the teams that get the prize money, not the drivers, because the drivers are paid in salaries. Here's an example. In 2014, Ferrari, who finished 4th, received £164 million in prize money, whereas Williams, who finished 3rd, received only £83 million in prize money. So clearly there's a massive discrepancy here. Now, there is a reason for this. Back in 2011 and 2012, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren and Williams all signed an agreement with the sport that no matter where they finished in the standings, they would receive an adequate amount of prize money. This is because of their history in the sport, because they are the most illustrious teams there, and their influence. They bring the most money to Formula 1, therefore Formula 1 are desperate to keep these teams in the sport, because they're the teams that people tune in to watch. Or these teams get an extra award, which means the top teams stay at the top and the bottom teams will always stay at the bottom, which means unfair racing, because it gives the smaller teams a very little chance to compete. So even if a small team does have a great season one year, they won't get a proportionately fair amount of prize money, because that will automatically go to one of those 5 teams I mentioned, no matter where they finish. Thankfully though, this is set to change in 2022 with the new rules coming in. Included in those new rules are a complete new way of distributing the prize money. It will now be distributed in a much more fair way, hoping to bridge the gap between the top teams and the small teams, promoting fairer racing. Now, the 4th problem I want to discuss with you today is overtaking. Overtaking is not as easy as it should be. This is because of the aerodynamics. Now, stick with me on this one. So, the aerodynamics on the car, yes, it makes the car faster. However, it destroys the air for the car behind. This means as soon as you get close to a car in front, even if you're faster, it's very difficult to keep up because your aerodynamics aren't working as well. This is because you have entered what's called dirty air. This makes it very difficult for cars to follow each other closely and battle closely on track. At the end of the day, that's what makes Formula 1 exciting, the wheel-to-wheel racing. Now, don't get me wrong, overtaking does still happen frequently and easily, just not as easy as it should be or easy as it once was. Now again, this is also set to change in 2022 along with the prize money allocation split. This is because part of those new rules is to reduce the aerodynamics on the car. This means it's easier for them to follow, promoting wheel-to-wheel racing, which is what makes the races exciting. So fingers crossed, these rules will have a positive effect. So yeah, that pretty much covers everything. Covered all the problems we want to talk about. So we had the aging audience, like I said in the TikTok. We had the need to be rich to be a driver. We had the drivers bring excess sponsorship. We had the prize money allocation and overtaking. Now these two are hopefully, fingers crossed, getting fixed for 2022. So things we need to worry about are aging audience, need to be rich to be a driver, and those drivers who bring excess sponsorship, helping them get seats in Formula 1. Those 3 issues, I believe, are the most significant, and the ones I feel most strongly about. You made it this far, well done. I hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed it. There's plenty more content to come, so stay tuned. So until next time,